Joining us now are two Republicans, I would argue the two Republicans who spent the most amount of time providing oversight and looking into what the department and the Bureau were doing and why. The top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jim Jordan from the great state of Ohio, and John Lee Racliff, who's a former U.S. attorney, former congressman from the great state of Texas, and former director of D&I under President Trump. All right, gentlemen, I mean that. The two most knowledgeable people in terms of contrasting the way the department and the Bureau may treat Republicans versus Democrats. You've got allegations of collusion with Russia, and you have Hillary Clinton and her documents. Jimmy, I will start with you. For those who say gather the facts, gather the evidence, it also matters who's gathering the facts and whether you have confidence in them, right?
Right, Trey, and you're very kind of what you said about John and I, but no one was better at getting to the truth and digging into these things at the Justice Department than you were. So thanks for having us on. No, you're exactly right. I would just throw out the name Kevin Kleinsmith. Remember, this is the guy who altered evidence way back in 16 and 17, when they first started spying on President Trump's campaign. We know that because of the Inspector General. God bless his work. So put everything in context. Remember, this is the Justice Department that treated moms and dads as domestic terrorists. This is the administration that's going to unleash 87,000 IRS agents to harass American taxpayers and American families. And now we know this is the administration that raided the home of the former president of the United States and likely Republican presidential candidate in 2024. So these are... Sometimes I just step back and say, I cannot believe this kind of stuff is going on in the greatest country ever. And it's, I know, shocking to all of us and a concern. Certainly, I heard it from our constituents over this past week as I was traveling around the district. They don't know what to believe. They're so nervous and so scared by what they've seen.
Johnny, I listened to you depose Jim Comey, FBI agents, prosecutors. You were a former federal prosecutor. When you reflect on how they handled Secretary Clinton's case, do you see differences in the way the feds treated her versus the way they treated President Trump?
Well, Trey, I have to imagine that you and Jimmy and I were among millions of Americans that were choking back disbelief when Attorney General Merrick Garland was talking about how the Department of Justice and the FBI were committed to the even-handed application of the law to everyone, including Donald Trump, when the FBI and the Department of Justice so clearly, as Jimmy pointed out, they don't have clean hands on this matter. And you mentioned Jim Comey. You have an FBI director who has admitted that Donald Trump was treated differently under the law than Barack Obama and Democrats. Remember, you had an FBI director in Jim Comey who, when you talk about a disparity of treatment, wrote an exoneration memo 2 months before he interviewed Hillary Clinton, knowing that Hillary Clinton had dozens of classified, highly sensitive, compartmented information in her possession before dozens of witnesses, witnesses were interviewed, and wrote a memo clearing her. That very same FBI director, Jim Comey, on his book tour admitted, I did things to Donald Trump that I never did to Barack Obama or would have tried. So think about that. An FBI director who's admitting, I applied the law unevenly. I applied my authorities unevenly because it was Donald Trump and Republicans. And, you know, and to that point, that FBI director, having cleared Clinton before he ever talked to her, opened an investigation into Donald Trump after he had learned that the Russia collusion allegations were actually created by Hillary Clinton, and then went so far as to lie to the FISA court and verify a dossier that he knew to be fake to continue spying on the Trump campaign. So, you know, the American people unfortunately see that when it comes to Republicans and particularly Donald Trump, that for the past 6 years, we have an FBI and a Department of Justice that have literally become the enforcement arm of the Democratic Party.
All right, Jimmy, I want you to imagine if the FBI agent investigating Hunter Biden was as biased against him as Peter Strzok was against Donald Trump. What do you think Politico's reaction would be to that? What would the D.C. media's reaction be if the Bureau agent was as biased against Hunter Biden as Peter Strzok was against Donald Trump?
there would be no other news that you would see. I mean, we all know the answer to that question. We all know the response to that rhetorical question. So but understand the template here. The template never changes with these guys. It's the left creates a lie, big media, mainstream press reports the lie, big tech amplifies the lie, and then when we try to tell the truth, they call us names and try to cancel us and tell the world that, oh, we're the ones not being square with them. So the country, though, the good news is they figured it out, and I'll tell you who else has figured it out, Trey. And you and John, with your background in law enforcement, appreciate this. 14 FBI agents have come to our office as whistleblowers, and they are good people. There are lots of good people in the FBI. It's the top that's the problem. But some of these good agents are coming to us telling us this is baloney what's going on, the political nature now of the Justice Department. God bless them for doing it, coming and talking to us about the school board issue, about a whole host of issues. I mean, it's becoming a well-worn trail of agents who say this has got to stop. And thank goodness for them, and thank goodness that the American people recognizes it, and I believe they're going to make a big change on November 8th.
Well, you know, Jimmy, speaking of calling people names, you may have a new name come January. It may be chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. If I were, you know, FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors not doing my job, that name change would concern me. Thank you both.
Because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that